This news update is brought to you by
Rock the remote with hours of free karaoke on video on demand from Flow. So bring it like Bay. There's even wonderful kids sing-alongs too. Available anytime. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we flow.
It's Monday, February the 15th, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago are expected to sign a cultural agreement during the final week of the 2016 Crop Over Festival. During a recent trip to Trinidad and Tobago to promote Crop Over at the height of this year's carnival season, Minister of Culture Stephen Lashley told Barbados Today he will soon be formally inviting his Trinidad and Tobago counterpart, Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly, for Crop Over, when he hopes they could sign the agreement.
What we want to do is to establish a more formal and certainly enduring cultural arrangement. We are looking very seriously at adopting a cultural agreement between Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. We believe we have quite a bit in common, quite a lot to learn from each other. And to take the cultural industry sector to the next frontier requires as much collaboration as possible. And I think that we have gotten to that point now where we need to buckle down and sit down and see how best we could actually evolve a formalized agreement that could work for the benefit of both of our citizens.
We've had that type of informal cooperation over the years, so this is just our way of making our plans to make it concrete so that we can have a building block and to really tighten and to deepen our cooperation between the two countries.
That was the Trinidad and Tobago Culture Minister, Dr. Gatsby-Dolly, with Stephen Lashley. Meanwhile, Lashley is also proposing a review of Carry Festa, which Barbados will host next year.
We also have to look at what Carry Festa means and should mean for the region going forward. I think we are poised at a point now where the festival has got now to be reviewed and to translate into the kind of gains that we keep talking about in terms of how we can position our festivals to really generate more economic activity and certainly more foreign direct inflows for the region.
Attorney General Adriel Braffett says the continual penalizing of ZR van drivers is foolishness. Speaking to reporters Saturday after the passing out parade of the Barbados Defense Force recruits at Paragon Base in Christchurch, Braffett said the reckless behavior by some public service vehicle operators will not stop because the wrong people are being prosecuted.
That's our fault, our collectively, meaning as a country. Because for as long as I can remember, I have been hearing, or you have been hearing, about this ZR culture. And it's been allowed to continue. And the reason why it's been allowed to continue is because we seem to be penalizing the wrong persons. We penalize the drivers that go and work for somebody else, and the owners get someone else to drive and not feeling it in the pocket. I figure that that's where we need to start. Begin and end with the owners. Because if a guy can't make money, the foolishness that goes on will come to an end, well, at least will be substantially eradicated. Because certainly finding drivers and they're going back and doing the same foolishness all over again does not make sense, and it's not making sense.
Tributes continue to flow in recognition of the life and times of one of this country's outstanding educators. Norma Holder, the former principal of the Barbados Community College, passed away yesterday morning at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after a brief illness. Holder, who was the 79 years old, was described by her husband, LIAT Chairman Dr. Jean Holder, as a truly wonderful person. Dr. Holder told Barbados Today she was briefly hospitalized on Friday, and he was informed of her death at 1:30 a.m. yesterday. In paying tribute to Mrs. Holder, opposition leader Mia Motley, a former Minister of Education, said she was a lady, dignified, gracious, but ever humble, devoted to duty and compassionate to the end.
I can speak firsthand of her tenure as principal of the Barbados Community College while I was Minister of Education for 7 years. I truly valued her wise counsel and her leadership of a complex institution. Mrs. Holder, the first female principal, presided over almost the trebling of the enrollment of the Seoul Community College when requested to expand that institution. She crafted and shepherded both the Hospitality Institute and the Palm Marine Hotel, and thereafter the Barbados Language Center. She introduced associate degrees in all of the disciplines then offered by the college, and added new ones to meet our wider development needs as a nation, for example, physical education. When I issued the challenge of starting full degrees, she readily embraced and implemented the Bachelor of Fine Arts and the Bachelor of Performing Arts within 6 months.
In sports now, the West Indies have moved a step closer to finalizing their squad for the World 2020 in India next month, with the pay dispute between the players at the West Indies Cricket Board seemingly resolved. The WICB confirmed that 12 members of the 15-man squad named last month have signed contracts for the tournament. The remaining 3 members of the original squad, Sunil Narain, Kieran Pollard and Darren Bravo, have all pulled out from the tournament for reasons unrelated to the pay dispute. With Bravo's replacement to be named, the team reads Darren Sammy captain, Suleiman Ben, Jason Holder, Andre Fletcher, Dwayne Bravo, Samuel Badri, Lendl Simmons, Jerome Taylor, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels, Danish Ramdin, Chris Gale, Ashley Nurse, and Carlos Brathwaite.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper, only $2.25. Let's get your paper.
You again with that stale news from yesterday? I got the Barbados today. I found my phone and I just get my news for free.
What do she?
Barbados Today. News you can trust.
Well, it may be the month of love, but it is also the month of AgriFest. It is here, AgriFest 2016 at Queen's Park on February 26th through 28th, highlighting the theme, Grow, Sell, Eat, We Beat. A humongous amount of attractions and activities for everybody. So don't Dixie doodle your physiog. I, Brother Daddy, will be there, along with my sheep, Dolly, Dootsy, and Dan. So come let me celebrate the very best of agriculture in the Caribbean.
Turning now to news from the region, the United States Customs and Border Protection Agency says its air and marine operations have seized 93 pounds, that's 42 kilos, of cocaine after intercepting a 25-foot vessel about 6 nautical miles in the Caribbean waters and arresting 2 men on board. The agency estimates the street value of the cocaine to be about $1.2 million. It said a Marine Patrol aircraft detected a vessel about 2 nautical miles northwest of Culebra Islands off Puerto Rico, traveling westbound without navigational lights. Trinidad and Tobago's Minister of Culture, Dr. Nyan Gasby Dolly, is calling for regional leaders to take a second look at how those provisions in the CARICOM Treaty that allow free movement of artists are working.
I would like us to move to a situation where our artists can move freely. We do have an agreement in place, but it's the actual operational part of it that I think we need to look at very closely. And if there are any things restricting the movement of our artists, then we need to deal with that on a country-by-country basis and work out how exactly we need to change things so that it can facilitate that free movement. But yes, that is what we want to see. That is really our goal and our intention.
On the international scene, the sudden death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia provided a rare moment of agreement among Republican presidential candidates at a debate that quickly fractured into the most bitter and vicious brawl of the 2016 cycle. An event that began with a sober moment of silence to honor Scalia, whose death was announced on Saturday, turned abruptly accusatory as the 6 GOP candidates unleashed a torrent of attacks and personal name-calling, including multiple charges of lying. The sparring played out 1 week ahead of the South Carolina Republican primary, an event that has become legendary over the years for its bare-knuckle politics. That's news and sports. However, you can join us again this afternoon for more. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV and to Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and the sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.